Oh, we zoom a bit when I turn on the video. Okay, cool. So, the same things that end up staying green late, except for the bulbs. Most everything else is stuff that stays green in the fall and then greens back up again early in the spring. But a lot of these are instead bulbs that are greening up and will be pretty well dormant by June, maybe July. But I'm out here taking a video because it's starting to be that time of year. What time of year? Snowdrop time. And they're everywhere. The bees love them, so they're good early bee forage. I usually see bees sticking out the back end of these little guys, starting as soon as the petals actually pop open. So all along here, here's some. All along here, there's several in the back here too, but I'm not seeing them quite as easily. You can also see plants that just never are going to go fully dormant. So here, something I consider a weed, but others don't, is bittercress. And it grows all winter and goes to seed first thing in the spring. So I spend all winter pulling it out. The mosses are green all winter as well. As are, as you've been seeing in recent videos, all of these freaking chives that I can't seem to get rid of the relatively invasive species being the hairtop alliums. They're everywhere. I cannot rid myself of these suckers, no matter how much I do. You see all the snowdrops here. Here's one that's... was that one? No. These are just crisscrossed. It looked like it might be open, but it's not. I think the sun's starting to go down, so that might be why. Here's a bunch. Of course, my yellow sedum never quite goes fully brown all winter. You can see that the ferns are still green. Here's some more snowdrops. But then also a lot of the bulbs, like these daffodils here, are starting to come up. And somewhere along here, there's also a small cluster of, here we go. Here's one of very early blooming irises, the tiny little purple ones that come up in like February or March, depending on the weather. My water diversion is still working pretty well. I have yet to quite figure out what it does once it's down here. I'm going to have to come out with an umbrella and video that sometime so I can study it. I still have a big pile of brush that I need to burn over here that's been here all winter. I think the birds have been loving it, honestly. And the neighbor's hedge is still this monstrosity. I just keep cutting it back as best I can on the vertical plane. So over in here, got a decent amount of green going on the strawberries. Well, that's a weed. This one's a weed, but this one's a strawberry. The strawberries a lot of times never go fully dormant. This one's also a weed. Wow, that's got a root system on it. Ugh, okay. That's like, I think, buckwheat. These are snowdrops that pushed up out the ground. So, back in they go. I think these are chives that aren't evil. This is strawberries coming back to life really early. see that happening here, throughout here, several places over here. The moss is green, and yes, this should be pennyroyal. Let me sniff it. Yep, that is pennyroyal, which is a really strong scent. Yeah. Some more weeds in here. Yay. And the front yard in progress. This is not a familiar plant. Is this my lily coming up already? That might be one of the really tall lilies coming up already. And there's one here too. It's either a lily coming up already or it's these glads. It's hard to tell because I haven't seen the glads in the spring yet. I got those from my brother when they were already pretty well growing, strong. So I don't know what they'll look like when they first peek out of the ground. There's a bunch of daffodils coming up here too. These are the ones I actually thinned. So apple, pear. Hey there, neighbor. More daffodils. And the weeding project I was working on when I decided to go ahead and start videoing, which is getting more of these guys up out the ground. And these are the bitter cress. They taste okay in deep winter, but still kind of eh. I wouldn't mind getting like a winter cress or some other kind of non-bitter tasting cress, because obviously my land loves cress. Goodness, it's ridiculous how much it loves cress. So that might be a good thing to take advantage of, but as of now, basically I'm being overtaken by the bitter cresses everywhere. And if I'm not gonna eat it, then there's no use letting it choke everything out, because it is about to go to seed. Probably within a couple weeks here, if even, maybe days. I do also have quite a lot of ground ivy back in here, which is not something that's on purpose either. I'm not a big fan of ground ivy either. I weeded like crazy back in there. All of this brown area was green with cress earlier too. And I did a lot of that last weekend, and I can see I've got some chives right at the top of my knuckle there.